Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
We will invoke bowel-wrenching fear into the dark hearts of our enemies. Hot rod rocket jocks of precision and strength, terrassing across the cosmos, hunting for heaven.
This is The Long War. I'm Rob Baer, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher and Wyatt Turk. What's up, guys?
You know, it's great to be here.
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, I didn't tell you guys my Blair Witch story.
Yeah.
Oh, did
you still there?
Yeah. So you came home and there was some creeper like just standing in the corner of your bedroom, just staring at the wall.
Sort of.
Yeah, tell me.
So, random dude just walking in my neighborhood like 10:30 at night. And it's weird because everybody in my neighborhood's either old, business people, or special forces, none of which walk around at night. So
I think special forces do a lot of walking around at night.
yeah, but when they're home with their families, they're not out doing their thing.
Why were you walking around at night?
I was driving to my house because I don't know. I went and got food. Who knows? I don't even remember at this point. This isn't about me. And so anyways, I come down the street to come to my house. I don't see anybody on the street. I get almost to my house. All of a sudden, there's a person on the side of the road, seemingly out of nowhere. Flashes a light at me, like up high, like tactical. And I thought that was weird. And I was like, I wave and I go into my house. I have motion sensor lights on my house. So my motion sensor lights on. So somebody was by the door or something was by the door. I picked it up. No big deal, whatever. I get inside, doing my thing, getting ready for bed, playing with the cats, whatever. And I hear the doorbell ring. And I was like, I'm not answering my doorbell at 10:30 or almost 11 o'clock at night. So I go over to the door. I'm like, who's there? Really loud and intimidating. Nobody answered. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not getting in the house. It's like a fortress. And whatever. So about 5-10 minutes later, the bell rings again. And I'm like, well, this is getting stupid. Say who's there. Nobody. Motion lights back on. Something was out there. Like, okay, I'm done with this. I call the cops, explain the whole story. I'm like, look, people don't walk around this neighborhood. And they're like, well, what's the description of the dude? And I give them the description of the dude. And they're like, we just saw him on the way in. He was walking right down the street. And I'm like, why is this dude doing laps around the neighborhood at 11 o'clock at night? Like,
I feel like you mislabeled this story. This is a Mothman prophecy scenario.
It's getting better.
I was about to ask if he had moth-like appendages.
I don't know because he shined a light on my face. I didn't actually see him. I could only give him a description of his.
Was it actually a tactical flashlight or was it a lamp?
It could have been a lamp.
Okay, so you're gonna take us off of Mothman prophecies back to Blair Witch?
Yes. Why not both? So cops are like, whatever. You know, one dude's like, I'll drive by a couple times. This is my route. No big deal. Nothing else happened that night. I go out in the morning. It's daylight. I'm going to get breakfast. I don't even remember. And I noticed the flag of my mailbox is up. And I'm like, that definitely was not like that last night.
Oh, my God. Is there like a fucking voodoo doll in your mailbox?
So I'm creeping over to my mailbox. I'm like, what's going on with this mailbox?
Okay. The thing you're doing right now that people who are listening can't see is an army crawl. Did you army crawl to your mailbox?
Nah, I didn't army crawl.
I picture Rob like strolling down the street, like doing this.
So I creep over to my mailbox. And I slowly like creak the door down. And I'm looking, but I'm not trying to like look. And I can see there's something in it. And it's not normal. And I'm like, all right, cool. What is this? And I look in there and it's a pile of pine straw, like a handful. Like somebody took a handful of pine straw and put it in my mailbox and put the flag up.
I feel like this is something that some teenagers definitely did. Like they were fucking with you.
Did you investigate the pine straw? Did you look into it? Like,
I don't know, because
I just brushed it out on the ground. And when I brushed it out on the ground, I realized that the pine straw, they did not scrape it up from around the mailbox because there's pine straw all over the mailbox. They literally took it from somewhere else.
It's a pocket pine needles, dog. Like this.
Yeah. You just walk around with pine needles and put them in people's mailboxes at late at night.
If the pine needles were like lashed into like a small like doll-like shaped, I would definitely go with you on this Blair Witch situation.
Yeah. I mean, definitely seems like
no, this is totally Blair Witch shit.
This is some Mothman Prophecies, dog. Have you seen that movie?
And then they were probably like, "Oh, wouldn't it be hilarious if we put a bunch of pine straw in this dude's mailbox? When he opens it up, there's pine straw in there."
Nah, man, it's definitely a Mothman, dude. It's not a teenager prank. The cops confirmed that they saw this sketch dude walking around. Like, he exists. And he exists.
Yeah, but
he
did
exists.
they say like this is a 35-year-old male, or were they like, "Oh, it's like a 19"?
No, he exists in a phenomenal state though. Of like, we just saw that dude, but he was just knocking on Rob's door. You know what I mean? Like, and he did it again, right? So that's very mysterious, very prolific. You know, like this or prophetic. Like, there's something happening here. There's a Mothman scenario. Something bad happened in your neighborhood. You need to begin a full-scale investigation, Rob. Okay. If there's like a bridge in your neighborhood that like a car could like have careened off of and somebody could have tragically died, you need to go investigate that site.
Okay.
Usually leads you back to the truth. Or you're dealing with a witch/moth scenario, in which I think that's
like
pretty epic team up.
Might have to call the Ghostbusters on that one.
Yeah, some specialists. I'm sure there's like some crazy dudes out in West Virginia that are all about hunting Mothman. They'll gladly come help you.
Don't they like come to your house and like take all the readings and like turn the lights off? Isn't that a thing?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. But anyways.
Or as Chad mentioned, it could be the teenage Mothman.
Yeah.
Kind of pranking you a little bit. Or
I feel like there's easier ways to prank me.
Or unfortunately, it could be one of those special forces guys down the street, and he
no, it was not those.
And he is
that's not a thing.
Fucking with you hard.
Like, I know all my neighbors. Like, we're all cool. Nobody does that.
I mean, we prank you.
I would do that. Yeah. Especially having heard this story, I would definitely almost make it a nightly ritual to stuff your mailbox full of pennies.
I mean, that, like, you could do stuff like that like 30 years ago when there's no like motion sensor lights and like recording cameras and like apps that I can see. Cameras. I didn't last week.
So what you're telling me is I need to go buy a moth outfit.
Yes, because then I'll put that shit on YouTube.
Man. You know what this reminds me? Have you seen the picture of that one guy who was just like leaving old televisions on people's porches? And he had like an old TV that he made into like a mask, like a helmet kind of thing. You see those? Oh, you should look. It's pretty funny. Like, I don't think they figured out who it was, but it was just like a bunch of doorbell cam pictures of this guy wearing a TV helmet. Like, you couldn't see his face or nothing. It was just a guy with TV for a head. And he would leave like a 20-year-old tube TV on people's doorsteps, and he did it like 300 times.
Sick. Well, that was a great intro story. Thank you, Rob, for sharing that with us. You seems like you had a rough week. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was fine. It was fun.
Yeah, get some salt, maybe some lamb's blood, and draw some runic symbols.
Yeah, you never know what you're dealing with. You might as well just cover all your bases.
Yeah.
Get some cold, hard, like OG iron.
I'm sure you can find like an ancient bookstore, and then like ask the old guy running it, like, you got like a restricted section I can look at. Get you like a grimoire. Mm-hmm. Protect yourself.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Well, Wyatt, with that, do you have a would you rather for us?
I do. Would you rather always have to drink using a 6-foot straw or only be able to eat using a 3-foot fork?
I think it's put on 3 feet.
Fuck, where's my tape measure? I need to measure my arm.
Your arms are the same as your height, like divided by half, right?
Nope. You're missing a crucial,
that's true.
You're missing a crucial part of that measurement. What's between your arms?
I see.
You see? Your torso. So yes, in symmetrical diagrams, your span should be your height, but there's a whole other part of the equation. So like your arm length could be, which is why people have different reaches in boxing, right? Most of the time, if you're 72 inches tall, you have a 72 inch span, but why do some people have like a 68 inch reach? Right? So I know I have innately short arms, and I'm worried about the fork scenario Like, if I could get the girth necessary. Am I allowed to use 2 hands? Yeah, that's even worse. I have less reach with 2 hands. Because, like, there's no way I have the lung capacity to operate with a 6-foot straw. Like, I will just die of thirst and dehydration within a few days. Overexertion at the least.
Yeah, you'd have to suck a lot.
If you just got to get a system rigged up, like if you're trying to siphon gasoline, just have like a...
Oh, it's always be above me?
Yeah. Like a recycling loop. But then if you want something different, like if you're like, oh, I want this like can of soda from the fridge. Oh.
What's the... Yeah, someone in the chat's like, it seems kind of heavy. Is the fork made of like solid ass metal?
Yeah, it's a fork.
I mean, like, I got forks made of plastic, though.
I mean, it's only 36 inches. I can't imagine it would weigh that much.
36 inches long fucking piece of metal?
That's a shovel. It's a trenching shovel.
Yeah, but it's not that big. It's a fork. It's not proportionally large. Like, it's not...
Oh, it's not okay. It's not like a pitchfork.
It's a 36-inch long fork.
Okay. That's even more hilarious. Because in my mind, I thought it was this giant fork.
No. But it's not like a leaf rake.
I'd pick the fork because that's hilarious looking. Like a long ass straw. That's cool. That's funny. I can't operate it. I don't have the physical powers.
Yeah, I think functionally it's prohibitive.
I don't have the lung capacity, but a hilariously long fork. I could buy that.
You could like put a strap on it and carry it around.
I'm glad you continued that sentence.
I realized as soon as I started saying it,
your pause was a little misplaced.
That I needed to be very specific with what I was saying.
Now, is it all utensils that I would be required to use at all meals would be suddenly 36 inches long?
Only a fork. You can only eat using that 36.
What if it's like a sandwich and I would never use a fork to eat a sandwich?
I mean, that's your life now.
I have to like...
You could eat a fork. You could eat a sandwich with that fork.
Yeah, but like, it's 36 inches long. Okay, am I allowed to hold at the base and cheat the length of it?
Yeah, you can hold it however you want. You just have to use it. Never said you had to hold it at the end.
You can almost use it as a plate too.
I'm kind of feeling like all forks should be 36 inches long after hearing this. This is like a clearly superior instrument. Like, this is like 36 inches long. It's like kind of low key fucking walking cane, low key fucking like, I mean, that's about it. I've read out of things. It's not that tight. Yeah, so basically soup's off the table.
I mean, soup was off the table with the fork anyways.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, I wasn't eating soup anyway. I'm like making up some shit. Like, oh, fuck.
And cereal.
Oh shit, that's a part of my life though.
I guess you could
with a fork.
Use the fork to stab the can of soup, and then you could suck the soup out of the holes.
But I can open the can like, I mean, I'm allowed to prepare my meal, I'm assuming. Like, no.
Yeah.
Put it in my bowl like I'm going to do. But I do like what you're saying. But I feel like you're gaming it, right? You can't just pick the soup up and drink it. Unless the genie counts soup as beverages.
No, it's food. You have to eat that soup with a fork. That is 36 inches.
You got to eat your tacos with a fork. With a 36 fork. The fork's just too hilarious. It's a back scratcher. Versatile. Yeah, picking it.
I think the fork's far superior.
Pick garbage up off the ground with it.
Yeah, and then use the same end to put things in your mouth.
No, obviously. You get 2 of them, ski poles.
They're basically unstoppable with 2 36-inch forks.
I can't. I mean, like, honestly, like, I can see this being the future of mankind. Rob,
the future is bright.
Rob sounds almost like a robot. Like robot Rob. Rob, you want to do some news?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you for asking. So we got new GW releases, and the good news is that it looks like they will be pretty available. So the majority of these releases are going to be allocated out or capped out to stores in 30s. I think the codexes were 15. A couple of things like the Battle Wagon and the what's that terrain piece? Shoot. Oh, the Big Ed Boss Bunker. We're capped at 2, unfortunately. But I mean, these are probably some of the best allocations we've seen in a long time. So definitely hopeful that they'll continue. Because we know we're waiting on some cool Sigmar stuff. Hopefully we'll be right around the corner with a little bit of luck. So coming next week will be or going on pre-order this Saturday, coming out on a very auspicious date next Saturday will be the Combat Patrol for Orcs for $140.
What does auspicious mean?
It's September 11th.
Oh, okay. I was like, what is it? Okay, I get it now. That makes perfect sense. But also, I don't know what that word means. But I think I can infer from context now.
A lot of cases, I don't say words right. I think I know what they mean. And half the time I can't pronounce them, but it seems to work. So I'm just going to keep doing it.
I'm not judging you. I also do not know what that word means. So,
so the Combat Patrol for Orcs is $140. You might have read some, there's all sorts of things being said about this out there because the boys are push fit. The whole box is probably going to be push fit if I had to guess. Which I agree. I was like push fit orcs, having put together and painted 120 orc boys in my career. It was not fun. Most of it was the assembly part that was not fun. Mm-hmm. So like push fit orcs up front seems like a great idea. But once you start diving into it, it becomes apparent that there's 5 slugger chopper boys, 3 shooter boys, a special weapon boy, and a knob. And there really isn't a lot of variety there, especially if you want 30 of them, you're still going to be stuck with 3 knobs, unfortunately.
So Games Workshop has been doing the same thing they have for 20 years, where they want you to buy multiple boxes to get stuff.
True. But I think one of the things that a lot of people are forgetting is that Combat Patrols is really geared towards new players building up a force.
It's even in the codex of like, here's how to run this Combat Patrol, start playing 40K.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. And also, I was going to ask that. It's Combat Patrol. This is the box, right?
Yeah.
And so Combat Patrol is different, right? Like, so you would have, like, it makes total sense that you would have 10 guys with different weapons and stuff and cool stuff. Like, it's more narrative, like on the macro level, right? But we also use these models to play 40K because they're the same fucking models.
Right. And I think, if you're a new player and you're like, I want these to all be shooters, cool. Like, I don't think anybody that you're going to play with is going to have a problem with that. I think it's the veterans that are like, oh man, I really have my heart set on getting these new models and being able to put them into my army. But here's the thing. GW still has the old Orc Boys box. It's not in stock on the website right now. I don't know if it's going to be back this weekend or not, but it's still available, air quotes, theoretically, for folks that want to build the 10 shooters or the 10.
How many of these new, that's like this group of 10 that you just described to me, right? 6 choppers, 3 shooters, and 1 knob. So
5, 3, 1, and 1.
What's the other one?
Special weapon. You can either make
rocket, scorcher, whatever. I guess not shooter, rocket, not scorcher. That's for vertebrates. So how many of this sets of 10 do you get in the kill team box or the patrol box? So you get 20 total orcs, 2 squads of 10. This is what we're looking at. This has been the trend. We're getting more dynamic, clean, crazy fucking sick looking models.
They look great.
It's not the Malibu Barbie of models of the past where you had 17 different parts to make one guy, but you can make that guy slightly different 100 times in a row. But really, was it that much fucking different? You know what I'm saying? Like robot hands.
They all look derpy.
Yeah, they all look derpy, and so it doesn't matter, bro. Like at the end of the day, also like read the New Orc Codex. Like it's really most people aren't going to be running 300 orc boys anymore. Like, even though it's powerful and hordes are powerful, like it just doesn't matter, man. And like I mean, I'll run them exactly as they come, dude. I don't see a problem with it. Like, I'll run it exactly as I get them, but they look sick. 3 shooters, whatever, man. I don't care.
Well, I think
they're gonna make it standalone at some point. Like,
yeah, they will sell the box by itself. They even mentioned that in an article that this is your first chance to get it. All those things in there are probably going to be separate kits.
Yeah, it's 100p new models, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, we're lucky that they haven't fully gone into the mode of the data sheet reflects the models, period. Right? Because that's a vastly easier to maintain game system. Mm-hmm. When you say 10 boys as equipped like this, that's the data sheet. You know what I mean? But we get to micromanage that data sheet and to be more optimal for like what we believe is optimized. But people have been playing this game since 3rd edition. Don't realize, because the game has been roughly the same framework since 3rd, right? The big pivot being when we moved to 8th. Major difference, though, between how we play in 3rd and now. Like, in 3rd, it was so a la carte. The game was way more a la carte than it is now. I mean, do you remember, like, opening up to, like, your war gear section for your fucking, you know, your chapter master guy? Nope. I mean, bro, there was, like, so many fucking things, like, so vastly different and unique. And I remember when the new waves of codexes started coming out, we were disappointed, like, when Dark Age was dropping, and you realized that, like, it already had the Iron Halo in his profile. Like, it already had a power sword. Like, we're like, wait, we used to, like, get him for this price, and we'd buy the things we want. And I remember, like, experiencing that disappointment for the first time. Like, where it wasn't as customized as it once was. But now I've been living in this world, that exact world, for years, and I've already kind of forgotten about the crazy, wacky a la carte days. And I'm, like, just thankful, like, that they haven't fully embraced you don't get to do that. Like, these are the game pieces. You collect them in the order you want. That's why your force is unique, and you play the game. I'm like, whew. So I'm still happy.
And it could be like it used to be, where it's like, oh, I have to buy like these 2 guys in a blister pack just to get stuff that I want. The one guy. And like, if you're trying to get like elite units where they were only sold in blister pack, where it's like, oh, gonna buy Burna Boys. Looks like I'm dropping money on 6 blister packs. Like, no, I'll take this all day, every day.
The point I wanted to make too was that all the combat patrols generally have a value of around $50 extra off the combat patrol. So, you know, they're 140. So you probably get around $200 ish in total value, which, you know, it's usually one of the kits in there. You're like, oh, okay, I get the one kit for free, but it's everything all in one bundle. And you can take those new orcs, you can put them in existing squads that if you're a veteran player, you obviously have some existing squads of 30 boys. Like, oh, this knob looks dope. I'm going to put them in my one squad. You know, I don't need it over here. I'm going to sprinkle these guys in. Yeah, you could have the opportunity to buy more boxes singly if that's your thing. But I think it's gotten a lot of negativity out there because I think people are so invested in potentially in getting new models, replacing those old ones, which doesn't seem to be the case quite yet. And, you know, I get it. I understand. But these combat patrols are made for, I think a lot of times we forget what they're actually made for.
Yeah, that's the first thing I heard. Is like, this is combat patrol though, right? Like, this is...
It used to be called start collecting, guys.
Yeah. Like... That's why I asked that question. Because I was like, oh, they've been doing the same shit they've been doing for a long ass time. Color me surprised. Oh.
But anyways, so some other releases, the Squig Hog Boys are $60, and that contains, that actually surprised me. I think this is a pretty decent value because not only does it have with the Smash the Squig, you get 4 models in here plus the little squig. What's the little dude on the wheel? He looks kind of funny. I like him.
Bomb Squig?
Was it a Bomb Squig? Maybe it was. Or was that the Kill Team? I can't even remember anymore. It's only been weeks. But originally, I had suspected that the 3 cavalry units would be $50. Now you get 4, including, you know, the HQ guy, because he is technically a fast attack. Well, I guess not HQ, he's an independent character, for $60. It's an interesting take on it. So it's definitely noteworthy because I'm sure GW will put something else out in the near future, new release wise. In that,
yeah, because we talked about it, and I was like, the knob on Smash the Squig is integrated into the Beast Hog Boys sprue, so it's like if they sell it separately, he's going to be in there.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Beast Snagga Boys multi-part kit is $50, so that looks to be the new standard. So you can probably imagine that when the boys come out, they'll be $50 as well. The green skin style. Zogrud Wartsnagger is $40, so that definitely represents a price increase from the traditional $35 independent character. So we're definitely already seeing an increase in the increase. Maybe it's been enough time passed, but I don't think it has been personally. That's my hot take on it.
I don't know. He's a pretty big model. Like, he doesn't seem like it in some of the pictures, but as far as like an orc is concerned, he's about the same size as like the Age of Sigmar Weird Boy. Like, he's a fairly big boy.
Well, sprue wise, they did the same thing with Crow and the new Cabal Master out of Thousand Suns. They're, instead of two of the smaller character size sprues, it's one bigger sprue that's like a half a squad size sprue. So even the packaging on that's going to be a little different because you can't put it in the traditional size box that they used to use. So I'm not even sure it won't fit in a clan pack either. So like, how are they going to package these things?
Oh, can't they do those cardboard single character boxes they've been doing?
Well, remember I believe, and I haven't put much thought into it, that those would at most contain two of the smaller half sprues. This sprue is the size of that box, basically, the character box.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That might account for the price or not.
I'm sure they've crunched the numbers. I mean, and also like, you know, pretty common knowledge. If it's a named character or a character in general, it's going to be a little bit more expensive because you can only ever have one of those in your list. So
think about how much he costs versus those the $60 for 4 you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like they're like girthy boys too, and they're cheaper than him, but you can have lots of them.
Yes,
so,
you do have to buy more of them, 100%. No, it's just an interesting observation to make. You know, just to keep an eye on it. And the Orcs Battle Wagon is $100 now, and that includes the Death Roller upgrades.
And it makes all
it was right.
No,
I thought it was like $125 for the combined kit they had, because I know it used to be they
had to buy the Death Roller kit separately.
And then they had like one box that was like, this is a battle wagon, and then they had another box that was like, this is a battle wagon with that sprue included, and now it's like an all-in-one.
I will have to look that up because I did not know that they offered it as like a one-click bundle.
I remember this in 2018 when I was buying the Fury Road list.
Mm-hmm.
You had to make your own death rollers because all of the battle wagon boxes that had that sprue in it were sold out forever. And you could only buy the battle wagon box without the death roller, and you had to make your own.
I don't think they might have done that as a bundle on their site, but they have never actually
I know.
Put that in the box and put it on store shelves. But I'll have to look back on that. But I honestly don't know the answer to your question, but it doesn't sound like something that they didn't do either. So we'll have to look into that. The Codex Orc is finally coming out as well as a separate release for $50. Data cards for $25. A new Orc dice set for $35. And the Big Ed Boss Bunker, which is supposedly a Gargant head turned into a command post for $65. Remember, that's the one that's going to be allocated to 2 along with the battle wagon. I did want to mention, too, there's kind of some rumors and kind of some stories out there that just feel like we should briefly touch on. Games Workshop has informed stores that they are not going to be working on restock orders for them until at least September 9th in an effort to get caught back up in their current warehouses, which is probably a good idea because restock orders are running about 4 weeks right now for stores. And what's worse is stores have to front that bill for 4 weeks. Like say I want to restock my shelves. I'm going to put in a $2,000 order with Games Workshop. They're going to charge the card $2,000. And then that pre-authorization is going to sit in my bank account for a month till I get my stuff. But when my stuff comes in, it might not even be that whole $2,000 order. It could be a 40% fill of that $2,000 order. And it'll get square when it ships and the authorization, and then they'll do the actual charge, which will be less. But keep that in mind. Game stores are having to float a lot of money for an uncomfortable period of time. And that's just kind of the way it is right now. So for them to, be like, hey, we're not going to be taking restock orders. We're trying to get caught up. A bunch of different things going on. Head into the holidays, probably a good idea on their part. So I hope they get done what they need to get done to get everything ready for going into the holiday season. So all the good boy and girl hobbyists can get their toys. It'd be great. There was some rumors about some new Eldar releases coming out. One of the rumor engines was confirmed by industry insiders as being the Eldar Avatar, a new plastic Eldar Avatar, which it does look like the bloody-handed bit from the new rework from the old pewter one. If you look at it, it would be nice to see.
That's exciting news for the Eldar players out there.
I think Eldar is definitely going to get a lot of stuff. There was new art that looked like new Eldar Ranger art in a Kill Team freebie little art cards things.
Cool.
They looked kind of like more like Dire Avengery, but with like still their chameleon cloaks.
Kind of like that character from Blackstone Fortress.
Yes, actually.
So Goner,
very much
robes,
like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And there was also a Farseer with a cloak, with a chameleon cloak too, if I recall correctly. So that'd be
interesting.
Yeah,
like a Ranger Farseer kind of person.
Well, they did it with the Phobos stuff for Marines, so why not, right?
That'd be cool.
Yep, 100%. So definitely looking forward to that. Warhammer World opened up their doors. Well, is opening up their doors to the first tournaments in quite some time there in September and October. So if you're able to go to them, definitely check them out. It looks like a lot of fun times. Sigmar, Heresy, 40K, of course, and I think it was Underworlds was the last game system. Oh, no, I forget. But either way, it's a good precedent to see more and more events. Get people getting back in and getting engaged. On the Marvel Crisis Protocol front, though, they will be doing, by they I mean Atomic Mass Games, the studio that puts out Marvel Crisis Protocol, will be doing their mini extravaganza, their second mini extravaganza, September 9th to the 11th, which is coming up next week. That's from Thursday to Saturday, where they'll be showcasing a lot of new stuff coming out, doing some live painting of new miniatures for Legion. It didn't look like there was a whole lot about X-Wing. It looked like it was more geared towards Star Wars Legion and also Marvel Crisis Protocol. And then just some fun, after hours things where everybody just kind of works on stuff and, they're all talking back and forth, kind of like a hobby hangout.
Cool.
So check that out.
Is that Iceman is going to be one of the new ones.
Ooh, that'd be cool. Bobby Drake's time to shine. So look for that over on Atomic Mass Games' Twitch next week. And Hasbro announced some interesting RPGs are coming out, licensed through Renegade Studios. It looks like we are going to be getting RPGs for Power Rangers. Yes, I know, incredibly anticipated, but maybe more so G.I. Joe and Transformers.
Interesting.
All of that is exciting.
Yeah, I'd be down for any of those.
Rangers.
They're
using the Essence 20 system, I guess they came up with to make it more engaging, I think is what they were saying when it comes to
so is this one of those RPGs where they make it needlessly complicated so it's different from D&D?
No, I don't know enough about it, but it kind of read like Sixes Explode sort of thing.
So they don't use a D20?
No, it is. I'm obviously that's a bad comparison because I'm not a super RPG guy. Just like more stuff can happen, I guess. More interactions, more engaging.
Okay. It'll be interesting to give it a look. That'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll have to wait for the D&D nerds to tell us if it's good.
Yeah, because I'm not a really RPG guy, so I couldn't tell you. I'm sure there's somebody can do a super deep dive on it and be like this and that. I don't know. I just don't know. But it's cool to see these properties happening, and we know there's a bunch of crossovers coming to Magic the Gathering, and Hasbro is just doing all sorts of cool stuff with all these properties that, a lot of us grew up with, or perhaps, follow from pop culture movies and things these days. So it's always fun and exciting to see, for sure. So I know this week we got week 2 of the Warhammer TV, and I think Wyatt wanted to tell us a little bit about his thoughts on it.
So let's see. They got a new masterclass on how to paint black armor. So it's pretty interesting.
Don't just use black.
I don't want to be negative about it. I mean, obviously way easy to do with an airbrush. But it looked really good. So far I have not have any like negative things to say about the masterclass. It's all very solid educational content. No new Hammer and Bolter this week, but new Angels of Death, new episode. Pretty cool. I like where they're going with the story. Very interesting. And really the only kind of nitpick is that the video player is still doing that weird thing where you can't access the video player controls to like go full screen or mess with the volume or anything. It's still all messed up and weird.
Which we found some people said it wasn't doing that on Roku. Some people said the reverse. So it's like,
I mean, it's different things. Like I think the UI, like the pop-up UI they have for it is definitely optimized for mobile. Or maybe something like the Roku apps, like an app-based type of thing. But then when you're trying to watch it on your computer, or like for me, I have my computer hooked up to a big old TV. So I'm like, I just want to watch full screen, and I have to do this thing where I get into the, get the controls and do all the internet shit.
Yeah, it doesn't seem browser optimized right now.
Yeah. Like I don't mind the pop-up UI. It's cool. It's just like, give it a full screen button. Like, why is that such a weird thing to not have?
Yeah. I mean, that's true. I mean, we got a good episode last week, guys. If you're just coming into this and you wanted to hear a very well put together piece on the Warhammer Plus app, check out last week's episode. Before we move into any more meat and potatoes or discussion of how Grey Knights has been doing this week, we do have a bit of an ad here. We have launched our Patreon page after how many years have we done this podcast, Rob?
7.
It's getting close to 7 years.
I guess it's technically been 6. It was 2015. Yeah, it's been 6.
6 years. So the Hall of Veterans has been migrating over to Patreon with a full video archive still available in the same old place it used to be. We've just got with the times. We launched the Patreon page. Things are happening. Things are releasing over there. Our after hours content that we put out live every week, that VOD is living on this Patreon page. If you didn't catch it live, there's a new before the after hours bonus 10, 15 minutes that gets recorded every week. You can only see it there. There's a place to go and do Patreon Q&As to get featured in the episodes that we do. So it's in its infancy, just launched. You can just hit that old longword.net URL. It'll take you right to it. If you're looking to support the show, that's kind of the business model in 2021. You need a Patreon page so that you can, even just pay the taxes to maintain the LLC, which has basically been what it's been for 7 years, right? And this just makes it fundamentally easier for us to also have some beer money when we go to these conventions.
You'll definitely spend it on beer and infrastructure.
Beer is infrastructure.
Somebody can make that argument.
Yeah. But so just a little mid-roll ad, just letting you guys know things are changing. But Grey Knights had an exciting week since we last talked. I've been following our chat with Aspel, who's just like already got it all set up. He sees pictures of his army all laid out. He's ready to go.
I don't even think he has to paint anything new.
I think he said he had to paint some Inquisitors. Not Inquisitors, some Servitors, maybe? I don't know. He said he had to paint like 4 models.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, super easy. But so, Wyatt, what you got for us?
So there's a big old GT over in England this past weekend, and Grey Knights player came in third to a very large field of players. So congrats to David McGeever.
MacGyver? Right. Is his name MacGyver?
No, it's McGeever. So I'm thinking McGeever.
Sounds right.
There might be like a different British way of saying it. So I apologize if I didn't get your name right, David. But yeah, he's got like pretty cool Grey Knights list. He's got a detachment with the Rapiers detachment, their Brotherhood, that we talked about when we did
the close combat killers.
Oh yeah. So they're all about that stuff. Pretty cool. He's got the Drago. He's got the Grandmaster Nemesis Dread Knight with all of the fixins. So this guy's probably pretty ballin'. And then some basic infantry like strike squads and interceptors are kind of the name of the game right now. They're real good.
Was that list? Because I'm looking at the one that won a smaller road trader here in the States. Did they all have force weapons?
The strike squads?
The strike squads and the Termi squads.
So the strike squads all have Nemesis Force Swords.
Yeah. Okay.
And the interceptors all have Nemesis Force Swords. So I guess he's going with like weighted number on attacks and AP.
Well, for rapiers, that's the one with the strap for exploding sixes. So that seems to make sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, because the swords are -3 instead of -2 for the halberds. Like, there's kind of a debate going on between like, do I want all swords or do I want all halberds? Like, I guess it's like user choice. Yeah, that detachment is just like all infantry, like 7 infantry units.
Oh wow!
Plus Drago, right?
Yeah, plus Drago and the Grandmaster Dread Knight. Like interceptors can hop all over the place. They're basically jump pack guys, and then 4 of the strike squad troop choices.
How big are these squads that he likes to run? Like
they're all MSU.
How many Dread Knights? Just a Grandmaster?
Grandmaster, Nemesis Dread Knight, and then he has a spearhead with the sword bearers. I can't remember. I have their stuff pulled up, so I'm just double checking which.
They're the +1 to wound strat for 1 CP.
Right.
Or no, just 2 CPs.
And then he's got another Grandmaster Nemesis Dread Knight with all the fixins, and then 3 regular ones.
Oh wow! 5
As you
Dread
would
Knights?
expect, silencer, side cannon, sword.
Little blunders.
And then one of them has a teleporter, so it's nice to be able to like deep strike one.
5 Dread Knights and just like 7 MSU troop units.
Yeah. I mean,
that's even more than what you used to run.
It would be kind of funny because there was a Discord that had a lot of Grey Knight stuff inside of it, and a guy was saying like, "This is what I'm going to do," but this was before the new codex. I was like, I like that idea. Where it's like 6 Dread Knights and then all strike squads. It seems to play to the format really well.
How many? Especially with like 3 interceptor squads, like bouncing around, and the 1 deep striking guy. You're in the right place at the right time. You're sitting on objectives, doing actions, making people interact with those Dread Knights. Touch of death in people, making people pay when they get too close, and you can just pop off some of these rapier and sword.
Like 5 interceptors or strike squads are real easy to hide too. Just cluster them in little.
And coherency rules are not restrictive when you have 5 guys. So 5 guys can actually displace more Congo line volume than 10 because they can be at the maximum of their 2 inches without having to have that stagger.
Yes.
So they can actually condense and hide and then spread out real quick. So that's a sick. I mean, it's very symmetrical too. Like I love the just the volume and ease of concept with all the infantry units, and just like I'm probably gonna deep strike one of these big dogs, right? And then I've got 2 HQ versions, 2 shooty versions, and he's probably like holding these guys back in the midfield, moving up, supporting, taking objectives. He's probably like doing something special, right? Because you can do some crazy shit with the Grandmasters, right? With these stratagems.
Oh yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. Increasing invul saves, falling back, being able to shoot and charge, do all that fun stuff. Like there's a good number of them. Like the Grandmaster Nemesis Dread Knight is pretty spicy.
That's why they're probably limited to 1.
Is he still 12 wounds? Is he like 12 wounds, toughness 6, 2 up, 4 up?
I believe so. I can double check the actual stats.
The Grandmaster?
Yeah, 13 wounds.
13.
T6. Yeah.
2 up, 4 up. What's their movement on those guys? Like 8 inches or something?
9. But it degrades. So it goes 9, 7, 5. And then their weapon skill always stays the same, but the ballistic skill changes from 2 to 3 to 4. And the number of attacks goes down.
Okay, so they do have a kind of a punishing in some ways scale, but pretty. I mean, solid. How many points does those guys come kitted in? 250.
So the first one in the Rapier's detachment is 235, and the other one 225. I think the Rapier's one has a teleporter.
Does a teleporter do anything besides being able to deep strike? Do you still get to do like a shot or anything like that?
It's a teleporter keyword. I think it's still just a deep strike. You can start off the board, or you might be able to pick it up and put it back. I'm not a super expert on it.
Yeah, I'm curious about that because like it used to like back in the old days, it made it so you could move 12 inches.
Yeah.
And then once per game.
Or 30 or something.
Well, once per game, you can move it 30 inches. And I know it's.
Yeah.
I remember in the old decks when I was kind of looking at them, it was basically you can just deep strike them. Like you pay 10 points for the ability to start them off the board and then do a deep strike.
And how many points is it?
10.
Oh, it's really cheap. Yeah, shit was way more expensive to do the shit I was talking about back in the day.
No, they get teleports. They automatically get teleport strike as an ability.
Yes,
that's not it.
So figure out what this teleporter is. I'm really curious because like it's the one thing I don't understand.
Yeah,
I want to know this guy's army. So, and everyone has these storm bolters, these wrist mounted storm bolters. Everyone hits with these AP3 weapons. They explode their 6s, right? They can stack these plus wounded wound strat. These guys, more attacks of those guys make the fucking Grandmasters really hard to fucking interact with.
Yeah, so I'm looking at like the attachment abilities. Teleport strike just says like if you have this ability, then you can deep strike.
So shot is a stratagem, is what it is now. So teleport keyword.
So that's why the teleport.
Okay,
that makes sense.
I hadn't gotten to all those yet.
Yeah, so
I got it.
So that's dope. That means you can reposition them pretty quick. That list has a ton of mobility, a ton of board presence.
Oh yeah, so it's like instead of in your movement phase, instead of making a normal move, remove it from the battlefield and set it back up on the battlefield anywhere that is more than 9 inches away from enemy models. But you can only do it once per battle.
That was normal.
So that's the same for the.
Well, now it's a stratagem, so only one guy can do it once per battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he puts it on 2 guys he thinks he might do it on. He doesn't put it on all the guys.
Right. Yeah. So it's cool for that kind of stuff. Like.
That's a fucking insanely fun-sided list, though. Like,
oh, he gave him. I'm looking at this.
I mean, I like this list. I mean, I think personally, I might have gone with the halberds, but that's just me because typically the wounds are the harder dice to convert rather than hits. So having that bonus to strength for better, easier wounding, I like that more.
But the halberds sacrifice an AP to do it?
Yeah, it's +2 strength, -2 AP, 2 damage. And the foresword is +1 strength, -3 AP, 2 damage.
Oh, it's still a plus strength, though.
Yeah.
I would do the sword. Because mathematically, breakpoint-wise, you're still wounding every vehicle right out of 5, even with the +2 strength, right? And when it comes to toughness 4 infantry, you're still wounding on a 3, even with the +2 strength. So there is a breakpoint where that changes it to a 4, right? It's sometimes a makes it a 2. But for the vast majority of your encounters, just math hammer wise, just a +1 is all you need as long as it still does 2 damage. But you are getting that extra AP. So even though in those couple of situations it's harder to wound, the wounds you do get through are less likely to be saved. So I would personally sort of see why people would gravitate toward the sword.
Oh, yeah, for optimization, like I get it.
Yeah, just at maximum optimization.
100%.
Like,
Also, just I don't know. Like I feel like because typically what you want those guys to pick up is like infantry, elite infantry, maybe even heavy infantry. I like the cushion of the bonus to strength, and it also looks more Grey Knight with their halberds rather than swords. That's just me, though.
yeah, but swords are also easier to do the crossfade effect on with some aspect.
Yeah.
They are. I mean, like they have some nice like double bevel swords. Like they look good.
Real thick. They're always hanging off the guy, so you can just sneak it with your airbrush, do the quick tri-fade. All the guys hit him with a varnish, run that fucking Tamiya masking tape right around both sides, flip the fucking airbrush tech. You've already got a sick crossfade. It took it 30 minutes to do fucking 20 guys. It's like, sword's easy. I painted a lot of grenades. Like, in my day. Well, I painted my grenade army I won at that year to Devicon, then sold it to Rob, painted a new one for myself to replace it. And then I painted our entire 4,000 points of Adepticon one year from scratch.
Wow.
All the crossfade effects, and then like countless commissions during 5th edition.
Oh, there was a bunch.
I have painted that fucking crossfade several times.
So check this out. The Grandmaster Nemesis Dread Knight, the relic, or excuse me, the trait he took is to make other Grey Knight units, core units, and characters scoring.
Scoring or objective secured? Because everything scores.
Objective secured within 6. But remember, that base is 105 millimeters oval. Like, that's significant amount of real estate. And I believe the Dread Knights are core as well. So other Dread Knights technically score.
Oh, making a Dread Knight objective secure does make sense. Because, like, suddenly, there's a lot of situations where, like, he's the guy in the objective and they send some, like, attack bikes in or some shit. And you're like, But he also makes himself score. I think that's the main thing because clustering around this guy is a sucker's game, right?
Yeah, no, it is.
What it really is he's taking that relic to make the Grandmaster himself objective secure. So
that's his trait.
Or his warlord trait. So as he runs into fights, clears combats, he's staying in objective secure now. So he can really pick and choose where he goes. That's really the optimization of that. It's not clustering around this guy. This army's designed to be in places and fucking win games. As he did. How many people were at this GT in England?
I think it was 30 plus.
They're in England?
I'll have to look it up. It was a bunch.
That's not a bunch.
Yeah, that's not that much.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If it was like 100 people, be cool.
I mean, 30 is. It's a GT. Like,
yeah, it's 5-round GT. So I mean, it's the same as like MO GT. Like it's a good GT. It's just
the main thing that matters is that there's more than 3 rounds, and so he was able to sustain the pace in the championship rounds, right?
Yeah.
So because after the 3rd round, everyone you're playing, if you're on a winning track, is somebody else who's got a winning record. So that's the real championship rounds. He maintained that pace, got 3rd place.
I agree.
And also, oftentimes, the girth of the event doesn't make it necessarily more challenging. As we've said before, like, sometimes the hardest events are, like, 20-man events in your local area where everyone's a dick stomper. And you can't avoid dick stomping.
That's not going to stomp itself.
That dick ain't stomping itself, baby. That's an awesome list. No wonder it was
a 32-person event.
32-person? Yeah. I'm jealous. I wish this event I'm going to this weekend was 32. I'm going to Next Gen Games and Comics on Saturday morning to play my 3rd, 4th, and 5th games of 9th edition 40K.
Ooh.
And get some much needed practice in with my Death Guard before we go to Vegas teams.
This month. Excited. Looking forward to it.
Me too. There's some big names on the list that I'm looking forward to playing. Jeff Jew's going to be there with his AdMech, and so I'm really stoked to get an opportunity to play against that AdMech because that's a big part of my role in the team.
All right, Kenny, this is really important. I'm going to need you to be super careful putting your pants on for this month.
I have been thought about that a lot. I have been doing stretches in the hallway, all of the yoga stretches, push-ups, lunges in the hallway, and even some light squatting. I've been just really keeping that fucking core warm and hot and flexed. Like, I'm on top of my game. I'm not letting, because I still have a little bit of light sciatic and nerve pain from the injury. And I'm just like, okay, this is manageable. This doesn't hurt me. I just keeping my shit going because I cannot hurt my back 2 minutes before Demeki comes to the house.
I like this comment. Just don't wear pants at home, man.
Yeah.
Just Donald Duck it. It'll be fine.
It's like
frankly, a little embarrassed. I haven't thought of that myself. I'm actually going to write that down. What was that?
Don't wear
nerve?
pants.
I'm going to write this motherfucker down.
Donald Duck maneuver.
Don't wear pants. Where is it? Got it. Thank you. Dead Nerve, hit me up on Facebook. I'll send you a prize. I'm on top of my shit.
Inspired by actual events. Mm-hmm. Ripped from the headlines.
Yeah. But I'm excited for the Vegas. I think Haspel, isn't he pivoting? Does he want to pivot to Grey Knights?
Yeah, he's pretty like stoked on it. Like I anticipated this. Like I know he was hype on his Blood Raven.
You did. You said this a long time ago.
I was like, that new Grey Knight Codex comes out and it's spicy. He is 100%.
He is in. I'm excited for this like fanatical Haspel's Grey Knight.
Yeah, and I mean like I'll show him this list because I'm pretty sure he has all that.
Dog, he has like 7 Grey Knights.
All the squads like ready to go and stuff. Like solid list.
He has a fucking ton of Grey Knights, dog. It's a lot. I'm excited. I'll keep you guys updated this weekend, though. Podcast listeners, I will Facebook and chronicle my first local tournament. I think we have 12 people signed up.
Nice.
It's a classic Rogue Trader tournament number, you know. Alan's going to be there. Some other like local ITC beatdown artists are going to be there. It's going to be thick.
Is Alan playing the Necrons, or is he going back to?
Probably is. He's probably going to go in there and smash it out.
He's been like stoked on the Necrons after he got him painted.
Yeah, he's hard to beat in tournaments, man. Like I haven't beat that guy in an actual like the only chance I ever had to beat him for some reason is at Next Gen Games and Comics, because every time I've had to fucking play him at any other fucking event, he just stomps my ass. So like I think he's gonna play. I think he's gonna win. Like, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. He's also my ride, so like,
oh yeah,
I like it when he's happy. All right, well, anything else we want to cover before we jump out of here?
No, I think that was it. It's gonna be interesting to see what does well next weekend.
Grey Knights, continued Grey Knight domination.
I'd like to see some Grey Knights doing well.
Also, I guarantee what's going to do well this weekend is definitely be Death Guard in my region, specifically 9068 zip code.
There you go. Get a good bump.
Just putting that spirit energy out there.
I'll be checking Monday morning.
Oh, Long War Doubles tickets. We opened up more. They're on sale for LVO.
Good point.
Thank you.
You should head over to the LVO registration page, get your tickets before they sell out again. They will sell out again. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Wyatt.
Rob.
Well, head over to our new Patreon page at thelongwar.net. All roads, I guess, lead to Long War these days, and become a veteran of the Long War today.